Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Jack. If you're new to Off the Grid Overlanding, welcome in. If you're not, well, welcome back. So I know that it has been a very long time since I made my last video, but I just had a lot of things going on in terms of school and work. It's been a couple of years since my last video, so I thought what better time to bring it back than now. So to sort of brief you guys on a little bit of what's been going on, number one thing to cover, the Land Cruiser is gone. Unfortunately, I missed that thing. I poured my entire heart into that vehicle. I loved it as much as I could. It became a little bit too impractical for me in terms of highway and just driving in general. I'd be going on the highway to school, it'd be about 25 miles an hour, foot to the floor, so that was just a little bit too impractical for me. So then shortly thereafter, I put the Land Cruiser on Marketplace just to get it out there, hit up a couple of people that I knew might have been interested, and I eventually traded for a 2013 Subaru WRX STI. I'll put an image of that right now. So that was my Subaru WRX STI. I had a ton of fun with that car. I didn't own it for very long, maybe 3 weeks at the max. I just wanted something a little bit different than the SUV vibe for a little while, so I kind of go-karted around with that. Super fun. And then I ended up selling it to my buddy Carson. So that car is still in the news around me, which is cool because I'm able to see that get built as well. But shortly thereafter getting rid of the Subaru, I was able to get a 2015 GMC Sierra. Now that brings me to the next point on my video. Today's video is going to be a build walk around of my Sierra. Now, one thing I want you guys to know is that this thing is essentially bone stock. There are only a couple things I've done to it so far, but I just want to give you guys an overview of what I'm working with right now, and then I'll move into sort of what I want my plans to look like for the future of this vehicle. And I know I didn't spend much time talking about where I've been, but just to put it out there for you guys, kind of how I explained earlier, I've just been super busy. I apologize. I have been actually frequently checking my YouTube creator account just to see how this channel is progressing with the stuff I do have out. While I don't have a ton of content, I was actually able to gain about 30 subscribers, which puts me right at 81 subscribers as of right now. And I've gotten comments on some of my YouTube shorts and stuff like that. So I thought, what better time now that I'm in a truck, now that I'm in a new vehicle to get content with, what better time than to bring this channel back and revamp it and see where I can take it. So ideally, before I get into the walk around of my truck that is sitting just right here to the right of me, I just wanted to cover a couple things. So new looks for the channel. One, obviously more adventure videos, obviously more build walk around videos, stuff like that. Two, this channel is going to consist of many more things other than those. It's going to include install videos. It's going to include, like I said, other build walk arounds of other vehicles that my buddies have. So we're just going to do a bunch of outdoor, a bunch of overlanding, a bunch of modification stuff. Anything car related will be captured on camera and uploaded to my YouTube channel. Ideally, I want to use my channel as kind of a utilization tool for people out there. As far as I know, there are only a couple guys that really do in-depth work on these trucks. This is a 2015, so it's about 10-ish, 11-ish years old. Parts are still readily available. The LS platform motor that is in this is a beautiful engine to work on. So moving on into the future, you guys will actually see my Subaru. My buddy Carson owns that. I will be doing some videos on that as well as he progresses with that build. A ton has already been done to that car, so when the time comes that I have the keys or am available to review that car, I will get that done for you guys, and I can walk you through along with my buddy Carson, who owns the vehicle now. We will be able to walk you guys through a little bit of what's been done to that. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this introduction. It is now time to get to the build review of my 2015 GMC Sierra. And again, quick note, this truck is essentially bone stock. There are a couple things I've done to it which I'll mention to you guys, but then I will go into what I have planned for this vehicle. Alright guys, so moving on, this here is my 2015 GMC Sierra, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a walk around and what we have here. So let's get right into it. And then in terms of formatting for the videos, I'm just gonna begin with the front of the truck, moving all the way to the back. So I'm gonna start with the front end, lights, engine, that kind of stuff, move into interior, and then suspension stuff, undercarriage stuff, and then move to the back of the vehicle, just so you guys are aware of how this is gonna work. All right, you guys, so we have now entered the engine bay to my vehicle. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I got going on. So this is the beautiful engine bay of my 2015 GMC Sierra. As you can see, got some red wire running back there. That is because I do have a subwoofer installed in this. More to come on that. I do have one installed and it looks really good, and it's professionally done by me and my buddy, but I do have a few things to tweak on that. Anyway, for general information, this is a 5.3 liter V8. This is the LS platform, not an LS specifically. That is one common misconception people get with these trucks. This does look exactly like the same thing, and it's very modifiable, exactly like an LS. So that's going to be the engine for you. Then again, nothing else done yet. One plan I do have, just to brief you guys, is cold air intake. That will be done. There will be other things to be done as well. More to come. I'm not going to leak too much now, but other installs with stuff that will be going and housed in the engine bay. So that is pretty self-explanatory for right now. Again, that red cable running across zip tied there is for my 12-inch subwoofer. So yeah, that is the engine bay of my vehicle. All right, so moving on to the front of the vehicle here. Notorious issue with these trucks, I guess I'll start here, is paint chipping, especially in this, I believe they call it Glacier White is the paint code for this truck. The white is awful with chipping. Just real quick, do have a chip spot there. Do also have a major chip spot with damage there, and then under the windows and other things like that. So that is one issue at hand, but besides all that paint stuff, which will be solved in the future, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the front end here. So in terms of headlights, I did run LED headlights for a while. They had a big flickering issue, so I did more research. I found a set that I need to get those ordered and in. So right now I'm just running basic halogen bulbs that you can get at any auto parts store, maybe 50-60 bucks. Other than that, I did put, you have seen these lights before on my Jeep and on my Land Cruiser, the Baja Designs Squadron Sports. Those are amazing lights. I have found a utilization for those on every single one of my vehicles, and there was a factory fitting kit to put onto this truck, so I thought, what better opportunity than to put those lights on my truck. Now, unfortunately, before I decided to sort of revamp my YouTube channel, me and my buddy Carson did install these. This would have been a great video to cover, only because without taking the bumper off, this install is extremely difficult, and my buddy Carson and I were able to get that done. And these look really good, and they do wire up to the factory fog light switch inside the vehicle. So I will show you guys that now. So the fact that those fog lights are able to work with the factory switch really make it easy for me as well. Again, I do have another remedy for more switches, more to come in the future. I'm gonna save all that information for a future video, but I will go through parts, installation, all that sort of fun stuff. So that is another future endeavor. Unfortunately, I did purchase the truck with this here. So that wind fairing there is unfortunately splitting off. I can get that as a factory part, so that's just something I got to update as well. But that is pretty much it for the front end of this truck. So moving on a little bit more down the truck, I purchased this truck without these wheels and tires on it. It did originally come, I believe, with some XD series wheels. They looked really bad. They were like big star pattern looking wheels. So I went ahead and just went on Facebook Marketplace, found these original OEM wheels for about 300 bucks. I went ahead and bought the BF Goodrich KO3 to put on there. It's the newest version, I guess, of the KO2, if you will. Great all-terrain tire, looks really good on my truck. These are 33s. You can fit 33s stock. This is no leveling kit, anything like that. So it gives this truck a really nice aesthetic and curb appeal, and just kind of gives it the rugged sort of look to it. So I really enjoy that wheel and tire setup. So moving around to the other side of the vehicle here, I'm gonna go ahead and move inside the cab so I can show you guys what's going on in there and a little bit about what we got. So coming into the interior here, surprisingly enough, for the year of this truck and age, I bought this truck with 101,000 miles on it, summer of last year. Truck came super clean. One owner was able to find it at a pretty good deal. Cloth seats here, but just your standard truck interior. I do love the bench seat. While I would love to have the center console, the bench seat does provide for extra room for people who need to tag along. It does come with a seat belt as well, which is amazing. But in terms of the interior, this is pretty much what you're dealing with. I'll take a seat here inside. I did, this radio did come with the vehicle as well. The upgraded, I believe this is an 8-inch screen. Check me if I'm wrong, but there is that, which I do enjoy. This is 1 year previous to Apple CarPlay, so that is one thing I do not enjoy a ton, but there are remedies for that as well. More to come. But yeah, this interior is super user-friendly, very basic. Steering wheel controls, light controls, that's your factory fog light switch, so when you click that, those Bajas come on. Basic gauge cluster, physical gauges, little screen in the middle, so pretty much everything you can ask for. The sunglass holder right here, of course. Very convenient. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the front of the vehicle. And one more thing I forgot to mention, this vehicle does come with a ton of cubbies and little storage things. So I have toothpicks here in that one. I have two glove compartments. I have an entire center console with a lid here. I have another console underneath the middle seat with stuff there, so that is very nice. I also have drop down cubby here, full outlet as well down there just below this little door, which is very nice. So yeah, just basic amenities like that are what makes this truck very, very nice in my opinion. So we're gonna go ahead and move into the back seat here. Again, very much like the front, obviously. Cloth interior. These seats were virtually unused up until when I got the truck, so these came pretty much brand new. You do see my subwoofer here. I will go over the remedy for that real fast. So they do make subwoofer boxes that fit perfectly under this. Sorry, let me move my jacket real quick. That fit perfectly under these seats because these fold up like this. So those usually come in 10-inch subwoofers, so I think that's something I want to do. Although the 12 sounds really nice and gives good sound inside the cab, it's a little bit in the way. I don't love the way it's kind of tucked under there. The seats fold up over it fine. There still is like adequate leg room, but it's just something that's not very aesthetically pleasing for me. But other than the subwoofer, which I'll get into here in just a sec, that is the rear of the vehicle. Movable headrests, drop down cup holders in the middle here. So very, very nice. I'm gonna go ahead and move into the sub amp setup we have here. So I was trying to do this as cleanly as possible. I do have WeatherTech mats in here, so I did some short screws and actually screwed the amp to the mat, which works really well because it doesn't pierce through the mat fully into the carpet, which is also subject to removal at any time for cleaning or anything, so that makes it super convenient there. We ran the basic wiring, obviously, to the splitter, to the sub, and then all the sub wiring is tucked under the carpet fully, under the trim panels, inside tapped into speaker wire here, running all the way up front under the panels, through the firewall, into the engine bay, to the battery. So it is done very, very well and will make it super easy when I want to go ahead and put the factory fitting sub box under these seats. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and move to the rear of the vehicle. Obviously there isn't a ton to cover because it is a truck, so there's no crazy things really happening back here, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the rear of the vehicle just to show you guys what's going on. So this is the rear end of my GMC Sierra. Obviously it's a truck, so we have the bed, pretty self-explanatory. I do have this cover here. It is called the Pro X15 from Truxedo. It is a beautiful canvas, thick canvas cover, Velcro down, locks in place right here. I'll go ahead and open the bed and show you guys what I'm talking about. Excuse all the stuff from fishing. Me and my buddies go on the weekend quite a bit, so that is why that stuff is back there. But in terms of the bed cover here, if I could get the camera to focus, perfect. Simple bed lock, flick that switch, comes up, this rolls up completely, tucked against the window, and then when you're ready to put it away, just comes down. Make sure the notches are under those little things there. Clicks down into place, beautiful. Other than that, just your basic truck bed. When all this is out of here, this is completely empty, so you can use it for obviously a ton of things, whatever a truck can do. And that sort of wraps up the entire basic aesthetic of this truck. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to suspension stuff and the underside. So obviously we have this wheel and tire set up here. Basic briefing of the suspension, stock suspension for a GMC Sierra. Leafs in the back, shocks up front, really basic stuff. We do have two shocks back here, obviously connected to the axle. That is just general vehicle suspension information. Obviously, I'll take the camera back here. Basic suspension setup. There is more to come on this. So at first, I think I'm planning on doing a leveling kit. I will leak this information now only because that will probably be the most recent install I do after this video. So leveling kit, obviously in the front, just even the truck out, give it kind of a nice, not necessarily a lifted look, but just a better aesthetic other than the angle down, kind of the aggressive down angle that factory vehicles come with. And yeah, other than that, guys, that covers my truck pretty well, I believe. No crazy modifications to go over. Just want you guys to have an understanding of what I'm working with. And I'm treating this as kind of a blank canvas, only because there are endless possibilities with this thing, and I have a great scope of what I'm looking to do. So that is the perfect transition over into my plans for this vehicle. All right, so I'm gonna go a little bit over about what I have planned for this truck here. So I'm gonna keep it aesthetically based for now, only because I don't want to give away too much. So ideally the truck look I'm going for is a pre-runner style truck. Now, to give you guys reference, I'll insert an image of what Dirt King has done to this same generation truck. So that image will be right here. So when I first got this truck, I was looking into basic modifications that you can do, and I stumbled across that image, and I was like, this is the truck that I have to have. I haven't done too much in terms of pricing, but I know it consists of obviously full King suspension setup. I don't want to run long travel. I want to run mid travel because I don't want to have the suspension running through my truck bed. But they do fully welded wheel tubs for the bed, which is nice. Obviously do suspension all the way around, fiberglass wide body fenders, axle upgrades, control arm upgrades. So that is the general look I'm going for with this truck. Now, do I know whether I want to do it myself or if I want to do it through Dirt King or a company who can install that? I don't know yet. I haven't done a ton of research as to what that looks like and install time and labor. But those are pretty long-term plans. Obviously, I'm going to tack some stuff on here and there. I mentioned the cold air intake, switch panel upgrade, leveling kit just to give it a basic lift look for now. Wheels and tires obviously will be something that I change prior to the Dirt King, but that is the entire scope of this vehicle. Since I have such a long scope of what I want this to look like, that is why I thought bringing back this channel would be very beneficial. I feel like just giving you guys some insight on how to modify these trucks. I don't know how many of you own this kind of truck or own a vehicle similar, but I just want it to be out there as a resource as well for people looking to get into modifying their vehicle. And I did find it very true that these vehicles are not common to see modified. Obviously, you see your heavily lifted trucks with the rubber band tires, super wide stance, that kind of stuff. That's not the look I'm going for. I'm going for a more off-road, overland, stylish, kind of Baja looking truck. And then the best part about that is I have the best platform to build that truck on. Crew cab, 5'8" bed. So we're not dealing with anything that Dirt King hasn't seen before. So, and then I'm gonna go ahead and keep the interior the same. So I keep the comfortability of daily driving along with having the Baja style truck look. And then obviously moving into the future, engine swap is gonna be something I'm also interested in. I don't know. I believe I want to keep it with the LS platform. I want to go LS, whether that looks like an LSX or an LS3. I don't know in terms of best compatibility with this truck, but I know there's a ton of different models of the LS platform, and it'll fit right into this, which is nice. So that is pretty much the plan or ideal end game scope that I have for this truck. I also do plan on keeping this vehicle for a very long time, if not forever, only because I have been through a ton of car trouble, starting with the Jeep, then moving on. I had the Yukon, which I never really covered on the channel anyway, but I had a 2004 GMC Yukon. So I had the Jeep, I had the Yukon, I had the Land Cruiser, I had the Subaru, and now I have this. What is nice is, like I said earlier, the Subaru is still in relevant information. My buddy Carson owns it, and he will be happy to get on a video and walk you guys around that vehicle, as well as I'll be filming other installs we do for that, just so that I'm getting information out to anyone who needs to see regular install, regular build stuff on Subarus, trucks, whatever vehicles we decide to get into. And then, like I said, just covering this one more time, I am back. This channel is revamped. There's a ton of plans that will be happening here in the future, so I really look forward to giving that content out. And then another thing, I just want to keep this channel growing. As much as you guys love this content is what is going to drive me to keep pushing this out, and I enjoy doing this, and I'm glad to be back. I'm in my senior year of college now. I am still in Grand Junction. I know my previous video from the build walk around, I filmed it just somewhere over in that direction, I believe, but final year of college, so we're looking to crank down here and get more content out for you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I really do appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate you guys looking at my truck and what I have planned, and hearing what I have to say. So it's with that I'm going to sign off here. Thank you guys again. Again, my name is Jack. This is my channel, Off the Grid Overlanding. Be in the now, be present for more content coming up soon. I don't know whether I'll post updates or kind of what that looks like, but I'm looking to rework sort of what I'm doing to get more relevant and more content out as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna end the video here, and I will see you guys next time.